Hey everyone, welcome to my show. Thank you so much for being on time. You guys always amaze me when you are ready to go right there at the top of the hour. So thank you. The last 2 weeks, I completely forgot to have my mic turned on. So I'm excited that out the gate, I have it on. So we're already off to a really good start. Be sure to drop your city and state so that I can shout you out. So let me know where you are watching from. I love to see the diehards, the people who are engaged. It's a lot easier because I'm over here talking to a camera, so it makes it a lot more interpersonal when you guys are able to communicate with me that way. So thank you so much. If you guys are not doing so already, you can follow me on Instagram. My account is Chasing Yonci, just like here. Try to keep it simple for you guys, and that is where I post the most content. All right, so tonight's show is going to be pretty short and sweet. And so if you guys don't get here on time, you're gonna have to just watch the live replay, or the replay rather. We've got Chicago. Oh, nice. Missy. I like that name. Watching from Chicago. Hello to you. Hope you guys have been having a good Sunday so far. All right, so we are going to talk today about defining yourself. And I know this isn't, the sexiest topic. When I was putting the title for the video today, I thought, oh God, I don't even know who's going to watch it because it's not really sexy. I need to think of a better hook. We have Alabama. Nice. But the reason why I want to talk about defining yourself is because it might be one of the most important things that you do in your entire life. And a lot of the stuff that we learn, unfortunately, a lot later in life, some people, it's stuff that I wish that people knew when they were much younger, like 18, 19, 20, because if you don't have a definition of yourself that you agree with and you like, you're going to make a lot of decisions based on what other people have projected onto you. So hopefully you guys stick around to this less glamorous topic and get something that's super helpful for you guys. All right? I've been so thirsty lately. Goodness. I gotta drink my water. All right, so the first thing that I would say is, how would you define yourself? Have you ever sat down and really thought about it and said, who am I? To me, the thing that launched this whole exploratory moment in my life was when I found myself single for the first time after being married for 12 years. And I didn't really date before I got married. I got, engaged to practically the first guy I was serious with. So when I was single after going through my divorce, I found myself trying to fill out a little form online for a dating app, and it was the most simple question. It said, what do you like to do in your spare time? And it started this whole, self-exploratory phase that I went through of really trying to define who I was. I was also in a space where I was really kind of spiraling because I had other people telling me who I was, and a lot of times it was in a negative way. And I really just felt lost. And I thought, I don't really know who I am. So I took this journey, and I want to give you 4 things that you can do if you feel like you could, you haven't really taken the time to decide who you want to be. And I think a lot of times, I'm going to add this before I give the 4 things. A lot of times, people don't even really put thought into what they want for their life. A lot of times they just go, okay, I get up, I go, I work, I do whatever, and they don't really allow themselves to dream or think outside the box. Have you ever seen somebody who announces their dream of being whatever and somebody laughs at them? A lot of times it's because the people around you are used to you being in a certain box, and the idea of you getting outside of that is beyond what they can grasp. I never understood it when people from small towns said, I never thought I could do XYZ, as though the town that you live in somehow has something to do with who you are inside and the gifts that you have to offer. But that's something that a lot of people just don't do. So the very first thing that you want to do is you want to take an honest assessment of yourself. Decide for yourself what it is that you like about yourself, and decide the things that you don't like about yourself. And you have to be painfully honest. Really take inventory. It could be, are you lazy? Are you super disciplined? Are you in shape? Are you not in shape? Are you the type of person who goes after your goals? Do you even have goals? Are you somebody that keeps their word? Are you someone who's promiscuous? Are you somebody who's a cheater? Are you faithful? Really take inventory and decide what is the honest to God truth of who you are. It's almost like if someone was going to make a movie about you and you needed to give the script writer a very, very accurate description of what this person was like. Really paint that picture. Now, as you go through this process, it's going to be painful because there's going to be stuff that you don't like, but that's the next step. The next step is to go through this list of things that really defines who you are on your own terms and decide what you don't want to have in your life or you want to change. Now, there are going to be some things that you can't change. Let's say if you have asthma or a medical condition, obviously there are certain things that are outside your abilities to change. But if you feel like you're overweight, you have the opportunity to lose weight. If you don't like your teeth, for example, talking about things from your physical, you could hire a dentist or get an orthodontist to straighten your teeth. But when it comes to your personality, you can change as well. It doesn't matter how old you are, you can change if you want to change. The reason why a lot of people say, old dogs can't learn new tricks is because a lot of the old dogs don't want to learn new tricks. So I don't care if you're 89 years old, if you decide that in the past you've lived a certain way and you want to start living a new way, you can do that, and don't let anybody or even your subconscious mind convince you that you can't. So really take inventory, sit down and decide the things that you want to change and tackle them one by one. And make sure you give yourself grace, because this can be a very daunting process. This can be very overwhelming. And so I don't want you to get so overwhelmed by the enormity of the situation that you want to give up. Let me read this comment. Missy says, I'm going through that now. My dad passed away a year ago and my son joined the military right after. I felt lost since I was also taking care of others, and now I'm alone. I don't know who I am. See, that touches me so much, Missy. You are 100% the person that I'm talking to in my content. I have recently decided to get even more streamlined in what I want to talk about, because I was pretty broad for a while, just talking about relationships and self-love and things like that. But I realized that specifically with women, there are so many of us who are raised, and I don't mean raised specifically by our parents, but just with society. So many of us have aspirations that are outside of ourselves, like an aspiration to be a mom, an aspiration to be a wife, but that's not something that is unique to us. Yes, we are birthing the child. Yes, we are marrying the man, but that's not us cultivating ourselves, because as you could see, your child will eventually leave. If you do a good job, they'll leave. And your spouse, that's outside of you. They could leave. They could unfortunately pass away, or whatever the case may be. You're not guaranteed anything outside of you. So I really would like the people watching my content to be able to live the life that you want. And I'm telling you, sis, I'm telling you, at the risk of sounding like a complete idiot, I promise you, my life is so awesome right now because of these things that I have done, that I have moments where I just stop everything I'm doing and just out loud thank God. Sometimes I do a little praise dance in my hallway, or I just pinch myself and I'm like, this is my life. And it's not because I won the lottery. It's not because I'm in love. It's not because, I'm traveling the world to see all these things. Those are things that maybe someone would get excited about, but those things are not happening to me currently. I am really excited because for the first time in my life, I feel like every day I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm feeling so alive as a result of it. And so if those things should happen that I listed, for example, it would add to my joy, but my joy is no longer contingent upon it. And so I want to give you guys hope in watching, all right? And as I had said before, these things are so simple, and they sound so simplistic. And like I said, this video itself is going to be really short, but I don't want you to underestimate the importance of this process. This process works, and it is a game changer. So after you have assessed what you like and you don't like, you decided what you want to change, put an actual plan into place. For me, it took a while, but eventually I decided that I wanted to be a content creator. I wanted to be on YouTube, and I wanted to do certain things. I did not just try to just start overnight. I took steps, and I was fortunate enough to have a mentor and somebody who walked me through. But everything that I did, there was a process along the way. When I decided that I wanted to lose weight, I did some research. I studied, how do people lose weight? Like literally, what is the scientific way people lose weight? Because I heard about trends, but I wanted to understand scientifically so that I knew I wasn't wasting my time. Every single thing that I set out to do, there was a set plan in place. And like I mentioned, you have to give yourself grace, because we tend to be so hard on ourselves. And if we set our intention on losing weight or starting a YouTube channel, things like that, you can compare yourself to other people and feel like you're not going fast enough. Or maybe you just have really high expectations of yourself and you could stress yourself out. So just keep in mind, the reason you're doing this is so that you can be in a good place. So when you start to feel yourself getting stressed out, just remind yourself, this is not why we're doing it. This is not the reason that we're doing this. And it'll help you to get back on track and take that pressure off of yourself and allow yourself to just enjoy the process. The last thing is, you need to practice self-discipline. And if you guys struggle with self-discipline, a lot of it traces back to mental discipline. And if you send me a message on Instagram and you mention mental discipline, I will actually send you for free my video that I did on that. It's a pretty long video. And it's usually available only to my Sunshine Club members, but it's something that I think is so important for people to hear, that I am giving that to people who have seen my content and have reached out to me individually. So DM me for the mental discipline video. But it talks about, in that video, it's kind of like a lesson on how we can sort through our thoughts. We tend to go in autopilot when it comes to our thoughts. And I had this breakthrough moment, and it was stemmed from this verse that I had heard so many times growing up. But the verse says, taking captive every thought. And for whatever reason, that particular part of the verse stood out to me, because I realized up until that point, I never took inventory of what was happening in my mind. Things would happen to me and I would experience the emotion as a result of it. So if something popped in my head that would make me sad, I was automatically going to be sad. Something popped in my head that made me happy, I was automatically happy. There was no discipline when it came to my thought life, and I just felt like that was impossible to do. And so I learned how to be aware of what was going on in my head and how to choose and be selective on the thoughts that I wanted to marinate on. And I'm telling you guys, I've done so much research. There's a guy by the name of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he talks so much about the power of the mind and the correlation between your body and your mind. And so when you're constantly in a place where you are thinking negative thoughts, and you're thinking, and it's not even abstract, when you're in a place where you're thinking things that are negative and you're down on yourself, it festers, and eventually it could lead to things that are physical in your body, like ulcers and cancers and things like that. But on the positive side, you realize that when you start to set your mind on things that are positive, you think about the things that you want and things that make you happy, you can also start to create these endorphins that I am experiencing now. It's really, really awesome. And then the more you focus on the things that you want, the more you start moving in that direction. Little steps here, little steps there, and the next thing you know, your entire world changes. It's like that butterfly effect. That one small change that you make can affect so many other things. And I'll tell you a quick little personal story. When I went through my divorce, and I shared this story in my full video that I did about why my marriage failed. But after my divorce, I just felt super lost, kind of like what Missy was talking about. And all of our friends, everything was just too fresh. And I didn't want to be around the people who were in my life before. I was also in this weird space, like almost all my friends were married with families. And I suddenly wasn't, even though it was by choice of my own, it's still, I didn't want to be in that situation. And so I really wanted to be almost like on a fresh page. You know, when you get a brand new notebook or you rip out the old paper and it's this fresh, clean slate, or you have your whiteboard, you wipe it all clean. That's the feeling I wanted to have. And so I created completely different social media accounts. I don't even think I had Instagram at the time. So I made an Instagram page and I created a new Facebook, because I just wanted to be able to have the freedom to discover who I was without any influence of people around me. And a lot of times when you try to step outside of what you're doing, like I mentioned before, the people who are in your sphere, it makes them uncomfortable. And it's not necessarily because they don't want you to succeed, but it's outside of their worldview. So if you talk to somebody who lives in, let's just say, Amish country, maybe it's a kid who's never seen TV or heard radio, and you're talking about these flying devices up in the air, they're going to think you sound crazy. It's not that they want something bad for you. It's just they've never experienced an airplane. So the idea of getting onto something that flies through the air that will get you into another country within a few hours, that's going to be hard for them to wrap their mind around. So sometimes you have to remove yourself from the people that are around you because they're stuck in their own paradigm. They're stuck in their own way of thinking. And making that small little step, whether it's physically moving or like me, having a new social media account, or maybe limiting the people who you talk to or you share your really deep and intimate thoughts with, those little tiny shifts will change your world, your world that you operate in. And as you start to meet new people who share your new goals and your new values, your mind starts to change and evolve, and everything just starts to open up. So I'm telling you, those little steps really, really pay off. I also want to make you guys an offer. Like I said, this one's going to be really, really short. I don't even think it's going to be a half hour today. Normally it's an hour at least. But I did want to just come on and share this stuff. Those of you who watched all the way up until this point, I want to give you a special offer. And again, just DM me so that I remember. But I have a course that is coming out next month. It's actually ready to go right now. But I want to go ahead and make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get in it because only the first one is going to be live. After that, I'll be selling the replay. But I have a discount for the first 5 people. And there are a few that have already been taken advantage of, but I haven't looked on the website today. But if there are any spots left, I will still honor this. I will be giving you guys $30 off. So the first 5 people who sign up for the course is going to get $30 off. And I'm going to go extensively into self-love. I am going to go into dating tips. I'm going to be talking about a lot of the psychological stuff behind it because so many people who give dating and relationship advice, they talk about tactics that are kind of like manipulative, you know, don't do this and do this, but they don't really get into the why. And they also don't get into the mindset that you have to have. So if you have, it's almost like, let me give this example. It's almost like giving somebody all the pieces to the puzzle that you need, but you're giving it to a person who's completely intoxicated. You have to be in the right frame of mind to even be able to use the tools properly that you're given. So what I want to do is I want to sober up the women, right? So to speak. I want to teach them emotionally how to be in the place that you need to be, because here is the main thing that I teach in the course. You are not going to have the type of you probably have the standards, but you don't enforce the standards that you know that you need because you're in a place of desperation. And I always say that's a dirty word, I know, but because you are so hungry for love, you have a very hard time enforcing your standards on men. So I don't want to skip to step 2, which is how to deal with the guy. I want to go to the root of the problem in step 1 and explain to you why you feel a sense of desperation, why you feel like you're missing something. And the reason why I can teach this is because I was her. I was she. That was me. And I had to learn, and it's been like a 6-year process. And I want to teach it to you guys so that you can just zoom past where I am in a fraction of the time. Oh, definitely, Missy. Make sure that you DM me. So just say course discount, something like that, so I don't forget. But that's pretty much all that I have for you guys today. I'm glad you guys stuck around to the end because on the replay, it might be taken at that point. But that's it. Since I have a few minutes, because I did think I was going to be on a little bit longer, I do have time for a few questions. Those of you who are watching, if you want to ask a question live, I will do that now. We have a little bit of extra time, and if you're watching the replay, sorry, you could just look at the comments. But if you guys have any questions, and also, I had stopped for a while doing one-on-one coaching because I had a lot that I was working on with my YouTube channel, trying to get it up and running. But I've decided to actually bring it back. I had somebody ask me if I did coaching, and I said, no. I said, but I'll take you on. And I was so blessed by the conversation with her. I said, I want to take on a few more clients because this is what I love to do. And when I see that light go off in the person's eyes, there's nothing like that. And so if that is something that you guys want, for the time being, I'm not sure how many months I'm going to be doing it, but I do want to, at least for the month of October, take on people who really need that help. And it's not just for the people who are single, people in relationships. I had someone ask me about couples counseling as well, and I am definitely available for that. I actually prefer the couples because then you get both sides of the conversation if the person's in a relationship asking for relationship advice. What is the name of the video you mentioned before? I believe the mental discipline video might be the one you were talking about. I will send that to you for free as well if you remind me about mental discipline video, and then my course, my upcoming self-love and making dating fun again course. But yeah, so I have that opportunity as well. So if you guys want to do one-on-one coaching, but that's actually what inspired today's video. I was talking to this beautiful woman. She's so sweet. And she reminded me so much of my former self because her whole conversation was describing herself, but through her mom's eyes and through her ex-partner's eyes. And it reminded me of me. I used to always describe myself through my dad's eyes. And my ex-husband used to tease me. He's like, am I getting to know you or your dad? Because looking back, I realized it was because I had not developed as who I was. So I would say, oh man, this is what my dad says. Oh man, this is what my dad says. Oh yeah, my dad said that, because everything was basically regurgitating what he saw and how he saw me. And so now when I get to know people, I can talk about me. This is what I do. This is how I move. This is how I think. This is what I know about myself. And it might sound small, but it is a big difference. What type of impact has your fitness journey had in your entrepreneurship? Oh, nice. Watching from London. I love that. Early, but still going. I think London is, I want to say 10 hours ahead of me. Let me know what time it is there. But that's interesting because I collaborated with someone in London before, and we had to figure out what time we'd both be awake. That's an interesting question. I'd have to think about that. My entrepreneurship, I think, is it Aldrian? I hope I'm saying your name right. For me, fitness was a part of discipline. I look at the people who have really made an impact on the world, and the big names, right? Lisa Nichols, Tony Robbins, even Oprah. A lot of the people who have lives that people envy and they inspire other people, if you notice, they have one thing in common. They're all in shape. And the reason is because when you start to master your mind and you master mental discipline, nothing stops for you. Because if you decide something for yourself, you do it because your brain is what's stopping you, right? It's not like someone's asking you to fly. I mean, most people don't have these desires that are just outside of their human realm of possibility. A lot of the things that we want in life are totally possible. Financial freedom, it's possible with self-discipline. Working out, it's possible with self-discipline. Career goals, possible with self-discipline. Unless you're trying to do something like singing where it's just a natural God-given talent, or maybe you want to play basketball and you're like 4 foot tall and that's just really a difficult thing. But outside of that, most of the times, if you make a decision to do something, you can do it. So for me, that was part of my journey of leading by example and also showing my mental discipline, being able to make those decisions on a daily basis, whether it's drinking water instead of soda or getting up and working out instead of sleeping in. Even this journey itself has been self-discipline, an exercise in self-discipline. And I will tell you this. Oh, hey, James. I love it. I love it. He's in one of my groups. So special shout out to you. Oh, it's 1:30 in the morning right now. Are you getting up after this or going back? Maybe you're still up from the night before. But I will say this, you guys. If you knew the Yonci of yesterday, and it's funny because I'll meet guys and they're like, I cannot believe that you're not, that you're divorced now, as though it was, usually they don't know it was my decision to leave, but a lot of guys think that I have been Yonci 2.0 my whole life, and I'm quick to tell them, I was a hot mess. Not saying that I'm everything in a bag of chips now, but comparatively, it is a massive improvement. And so the fact that I have a schedule now and I don't have a boss, I don't have anybody that I check in with, I don't have anybody telling me, okay, Yonci, it's time to get up. Okay, Yonci, you got to record a video. Okay, Yonci, you got to post this content. I have nobody who is controlling me. If you knew or authority. If you knew the me of 6 years ago, you would just be like, because that Yonci couldn't even make her bed on a regular basis. She couldn't even wash her dishes on a regular basis. She couldn't clean on a regular basis. She just could not get it together. And so this mental discipline thing is a game changer. Any other questions, you guys? We have 4 more minutes before I close. It's kind of fun doing the Q&A thing, but a lot of times people are shy and they're put on the spot asking questions. So I'll give you guys a few more minutes. But those of you didn't catch it before, I have a course for ladies, a course for singles who, ladies who find themselves not holding their standard in dating. They keep finding themselves doing things they said they weren't going to do and really struggling with self-control. I want to talk to you guys about self-love and why there's a huge correlation. So anybody who is watching on this live stream, DM me on Instagram after we finish, or if you want to do it right now, and let me know. And I have a $30 discount for you guys. That course takes place next month because I want to have plenty of opportunity to get as many people on the live as possible. And then after that, it will just be available on the replay. All right, I know there's a delay, so I was trying to see if any questions were coming in, but it looks like you guys are good on the questions. So I'm going to close here. If you haven't done so already, we'll see if my my graphic works this week because I did something wonky last time. But I have a book. It's called First Date 101. If you haven't had a chance to purchase that, go ahead and grab yourself a copy. It is a man's guide to dating a man. I have a massive focus group, and I talk to guys a lot about the first impressions that they have on first dates. And I compiled the things that they consistently agreed upon that they disliked and the things that they really liked. And I put it into this neat little tidy guide called The First Date 101, A Man's Guide to Dating Men. So snatch that up. You can get that on my website, chasingyonci.com. Just click the shop link and you can purchase that. But without further ado, it has been awesome hanging out with you guys. Until next time, tell someone that you love them.